Dropping the dad bod and building a rugged, strong and lean dad physique requires patience, time, and consistency on applying the basics. But none of that is possible if you can't stay in the game long enough, which is why today we'll be talking about one of the biggest obstacles that gets in your way, especially if you're a guy over 30. Injury is that evil force that knocks you off course, leaving you sidelined and demotivated the moment you and your body let your guard down. It doesn't care about your endless responsibilities, your lack of time, your desire to be a role model dad, great husband, and to look and feel good. It also doesn't care about your exhaustion, your stress, your lack of sleep. In fact, injury is the voice of all these. It's an indicator that something must change if you wish to achieve your goals. So if you want to bulletproof your body and continue carving that rugged, strong and lean dad physique, keep watching because today we'll be sharing with you 5 bulletproof strategies to armor yourself against it. If there's one-liner my trainees are sick and tired of hearing from me, it's that if you don't have time to warm up, you don't have time to work out. A lot of men think that calisthenics are completely innocent compared to lifting heavy weights, meaning they are completely risk-free when it comes to injuries, which is not the case. As a matter of fact, this is one of the main reasons people get injured with bodyweight training. Yes, calisthenics has a lot of benefits for the busy dad. For example, they can be practical, they can save you a ton of time since you can do them whenever and wherever you want. But this doesn't mean that you can get off the couch, jump on a pull-up bar or a dip station and start hammering reps, expecting that eventually this won't take a toll on your body. If you think of it, doing exercises such as pull-ups or chest dips is like sitting on a lat-down machine or a bench press and starting to do reps with 190 pounds or whatever it is that you weigh. Not a good idea. So just because it's calisthenics, that doesn't mean that it's smart to skip prep work. Therefore, to get to the point, here are 2 important steps you want to cover while prepping for your workout. Step number 1 is always start with a short, customized calisthenics warm-up routine that consists of mobility drills and dynamic stretches. The goal of this routine is to loosen you up and prepare your body to safely access ranges of motion you'll be training in. Luckily, I created such a routine for you, which only takes 7 minutes. The moment you master it, you can find a link below and on top. Step number 2, especially for upper full bodyweight exercises, always start with a warm-up set. For example, with exercises such as dips or pull-ups, I recommend band-assisted warm-up sets of 10 to 12 reps at 50% intensity, meaning half the reps you feel you can do at that specific moment. Alternatively, if you don't have bands, you can also start with a set of negative reps. And lastly, if a band-assisted version or negatives are not practical, start with an easier progression. By the way, before we move to strategy number 2, I have something really cool to share with you today. Me and my team have created a free 5-day nutrition course that teaches you how to quickly figure out how much you need to eat, how to track your food intake without counting calories, how to automate your meals, have family dinners without destroying your progress, how to make cooking simpler, how to handle cravings better, basically how to tackle all the common nutrition obstacles you face as a busy dad. So make sure you check that out. There's a link below in the top-in comment and the description of this video. Another one-liner I tell my trainees until they start rolling their eyes upwards is quality over quantity. Crappy reps might pump your ego, but they won't do anything for your muscles. Rather, the more time you take to perfect your technique and slowly progress your way to harder progressions, the better results you get in the long run. So here are 3 things to focus on when it comes to perfect technique. Number 1 is start clean. meaning you want to avoid momentum that helps you cheat your way into a repetition. Like, for example, you don't want to swing your way up into a pull-up like a CrossFitter. Number 2 is always briefly pause at the middle of your rep. For example, if you're doing push-ups, instead of bouncing at the bottom position, you want to go slowly down, pause for a brief moment, and then go up. Our third tip here is to always respect the negative, since it's just as important for building muscle as the positive. And by positive and negative, by the way, I mean the phases of repetition. The negative phase is usually the going down or the easier part of the repetition. To summarize strategy number 2, remember that the less reps you can do to bring yourself to muscular fatigue, the less miles you're going to put on your body, and the faster you're going to reach to your goals. So always remember that quality comes first and quality comes later. This quote might sound cool coming from a motivational speaker, but it's not a good strategy when it comes to training. Although complicated, pain is not weakness leaving the body. Rather, it's usually your nervous system giving you a warning signal to pay attention to. In other words, it's your body's language and it's trying to draw your attention, so learn to listen to it, because the more attuned you become to doing this, the more proactive you can be about avoiding things that can turn into full-blown injuries. Trying to build a lean and strong body while living the busy dad lifestyle can be tricky. If you're like many dads in our Dad Bod Demolition project, your days are probably packed with responsibility, stress, often poor sleep, and very little time for yourself in order to decompress, all factors that affect both mental and physical health, increasing the risk of injury. So here's why and how that happens in a nutshell. Firstly, stress and exhaustion impair cognitive function, leading to a decreased attention and focus span. Therefore, your ability to concentrate diminishes, making you more prone to mistakes and accidents. Next, stress triggers the release of cortisol, weakening the immune system and slowing down healing. And lastly, this weakened state makes you more susceptible to injury by impacting muscle efficiency and coordination. In summary, tired muscles are less capable of supporting joints and absorbing shocks properly, which can lead to strains, sprains, and other injuries. So instead of trying to push through by following a David Goggins kind of mindset and completely ignoring how you feel during these hard weeks, learn to take it easier and listen to your body, since this approach can keep injuries at bay and actually make you go faster. In case you're not fully convinced yet, here's a metaphor to better make my point. Think of race drivers and how they brake and accelerate before a turn. This allows them to better position themselves for maximum acceleration in the straight lines, since it helps them speed up and cover more ground later on. Similarly to race drivers, you also want to use trail braking when it comes to training intensity. Instead of injuring yourself and having to take a break, you want to take it easier when you must in order to keep on training. This will make you accumulate much more quality work and make more progress, because consistency always beats perfection in the long run. The fact that something hurts doesn't mean that you have to cease training altogether. If you're injured, reframe and refocus. A mantra we tell our trainees is to concentrate on what you can do instead of drifting into a downward spiral by focusing on what you can't do. For this to happen, though, you have to be smart and learn to work around pain. Some of the best ways to do this is by modifying technique, using different equipment, working on different exercises, or focusing on more different body parts and movement patterns. For example, if straight bar pull-ups are starting to cause your shoulder or elbow pain, you can try things such as using a neutral or mixed grip, or switching to gymnastic rings. You can switch to a different pull exercise such as rows and gymnastic ring face pulls. You can focus on completely different exercises such as weighted prone angels, or for a while, just work more on your push and lower body strength training. By the way, if you need more specific adjustments for this last fifth strategy, let us know, and we'll be covering this in a future video. That was all for today. In summary, injury is a tough mistress for sure. It can be stressful. It can often leave you feeling overwhelmed, lost and demotivated. And no matter how cautious you are, it can always happen. So keep that in mind, but also keep in mind that it's not the scary behemoth it's cracked up to be. If you always focus on what you can do instead of what you can't do, you will always make a lot more progress in the long run. This will keep you more consistent and it will skyrocket your results. So always keep that open mindset, always learn how to work around injuries, always learn to be flexible and keep on training. That was all for today. If you have any questions, as usual, leave them in the comment section below. I'm always happy to get back to every single one of you. Don't forget to sign up for our free nutrition course. More info about that, again, in the description and the top comment of the video. And until next time, keep on training.